Good morning to all our friends in YouTube land. Guess who's excited to be awake? Take a wild guess as whose tail would be flopping because he's excited to be awake. Would you like to go play? Good morning, say Daze with Jordan the Lion, and this crazy monkey begin now. Well, good morning my friends. How are you today? Great, glad to hear it. Well, we're getting it started early. Let's go out and have some fun. Daze with Jordan the Lion begins now. So what we're doing right now is we've been invited over to my friend Ann's house. Her and her husband have some really cool music, and I'm just gonna go over and hang out and check it out for a little bit. Jaw's gonna play in the neighborhood, and then I'm gonna go refilm the vlog that I lost yesterday thanks to my Samsung phone error. Some sort of protest going on. This has been happening for like 3 or 4 blocks now. Yeah, so the deal with the problem with my Samsung phone, this is now the second phone in a row I've had problems with. I'm done with them. I'm calling them out because when I called in to troubleshoot this, they told me this is a common occurrence with this phone. So they said they were having problems with a lot of the Samsung 9s, S9s, and that they have a really bad flaw in that, and I've had the phone for 1 month exactly, maybe a little longer, where when you add photos or you import anything into the phone, it shows that it's been added to your RAM, to your memory. When you delete them, it will not delete, it will delete the stuff from your phone, but it won't show it on the RAM count. So the more you add, it doesn't matter if you've deleted anything, the count just keeps getting higher, and then when you get to the capacity on your phone, which is what happened to me, I'm only using 30 of 128 gigs, it won't work. I couldn't import anything, and it wiped my, when I went to plug it in, it said there wasn't enough memory to transfer the files, which there was, and when I ejected the memory card that I was trying to import, it wiped everything clean. And now I can't get the phone replaced before when I'm supposed to leave on my trip, so I had to resort back to my old phone. I lost all of our vlog from yesterday, and I was trying to get a little ahead and also lost most of the footage that was to open and close the last 2 days of vlog. So yeah, thanks a lot Samsung. This is the second phone I've had nothing but problems with, so I am now staying away from Samsung. All right, let's go visit our friend Jaw. Are you hanging out at Ann's house? How's it going, Ann? I was telling that you invited us over so we could check out your music collection. You know I'm a big music fan, so yes, we came over to visit and hang out with you, and Jaw's gonna go roaming around the neighborhood. He likes the green grass, and there's some grass over here. Are you excited for a walk? You are? Okay, let's do it, dude. Are you checking out the flowers? Jaw, what's it smell like? Okay, he's out of here. Oh, I guess you like the yard here, huh? See if he does it again. He will. He will. He can't help himself. Unbelievable. We're working on a new channel idea. We're doing a pilot right now of exploring trees with Jaw. What'd you find, Professor? Huh? What'd you find? Laying there like a model. You should be the spokesman for a dog food commercial right here. Look at you. All right, good time visiting Ann. We're gonna take off. I'm gonna go drop off Jaw, and we're gonna head out to Woodland Hills and do our vlog for today, again. We're heading off to the campus of Pierce College. That's where this art display that I'm gonna tell you about lives. Very cool. An even cooler story about the guy who created it. Well, unfortunately, we're gonna have to come up with a backup plan because what we went to see is closed. They have gates so that we can't get in, so plan B. All right, my friends, I did find a way in, so we're gonna do this. What I brought you to see are the last remaining art pieces from the old Trapper's Lodge that used to be in Sunland. Now, what ended up happening was there was this great man who went by the name of Old Trapper, and his real name was John N. And somewhere in the middle of his life, in his 50s, he decided to move out to California, built this old Trapper's Lodge, And then love the work of Claude Bell, who created a lot of those figures that you see at the Cabazon Dinosaur Park and at Knott's Berry Farm. Hired him to make a statue of John N. himself. He watched Claude do these creations over the next couple of days and then said, I've always wanted to do that, and now I'm gonna do it. So for the next 30 years, out in front of his old Trapper's Lodge, he started creating a roadside attraction art display that came from the heart with his own great sense of humor, and he forced his family to be the models for all these figures. So let's check them out. This is kind of depicting stories that he had heard and experienced throughout his life. You're gonna love this. I love this kind of stuff. It's amongst, other than travel vlogging, it is on top of my list of things to find. People that have created something artistic and it reflects their personality and who they are and just everything about them. Things that you can't put into words. So let's go check it out. We'll talk to him later. Now right here we get a little taste of John N.'s history. John N. was a trapper. He was born in the late 1890s. He became a fur trapper across the Midwest, and then eventually in his 20s made his way down to the Everglades and was an alligator trapper until they thought that he and his brother had went down together. They were partnering up with a man that they thought was gonna kill him, and he moved back up to Michigan. And this looks like something he might have seen in his travels down in Florida. Now, of course, like I mentioned, originally his creations were at the place that he ran, the old Trapper's Lodge. Unfortunately, when the Burbank Airport expanded, they took over the space that Trapper's Lodge. John had been passed away already and his family had already sold the property, but the family got re-involved after the property was purchased to find a home so that these could live on, and thankfully they do. And they have a historical landmark status. As of 1985, it says Old Trapper's Lodge. Old Trapper's Lodge is one of California's remarkable 20th century folk art environments. It represents the life works of John N., 1897 to 1985. A self-taught artist who wished to pass on a sense of the Old West derived from personal experience, myths, and tall tales from 1951 to 81. Using his family as models and incorporating memorabilia, the old trapper followed his dreams and visions to create the lodge and its Boot Hill Cemetery. Now, like I said, he forced his family to be a part of this, just like that plaque also said, and what he would do is his family said he would make them lay down and he would pour plaster over their face and have straws coming out of their nose, and they would be the depictions for what you're looking at right now. And in fact, I found a picture of his wife, and this is his wife's face. Family business and family love. You can see she's got a colt right there, and then she's got another one right up her skirt, right up the side of her stocking. And then we have to assume that this would have been modeled after his son. Look, you can see he's got a jug down there he's been partaking on, and he's got a gun. That's always a good combination. Then he's got a gun right here in his gun belt, a Colt in his front, and he's got a bullet on his necklace. And then here, this poor little lady's missing her arm. I believe that his daughter Rosemarie was the model for this one. So just imagine staying out at this Trapper's Lodge and these welcoming you as you came in. Now over here we have a couple of maidens sitting here. Looks like they're waiting for someone to plop down right in the middle of them. Unfortunately, right in the middle, there was a sign that kind of told who they are. I see the name Lorraine. Are you Lorraine? Yep, you must be, because now I see a sign over here and your name's worn off, unfortunately, which is, look at the detail on her watch. You put those little jewels in the watch. Isn't that great? It's one of the things that I loved about this, you know, like it said, he would use his own memorabilia. Look right here for her bracelet. Now, John N. was known to tell some tall tales, or at least never tell the same story the same way twice. But what he did have was a big heart, and he loved his family. And this monument I read online in the Weird California book was dedicated to pioneer women and pioneer families that had lost their man or lost their husband. And down here at the very bottom, he had made a little plaque that says, in commemoration to Mrs. John N. Sr. and Mrs. John N. Jr., which would be his mother and his wife, pioneer mothers. Sculpted by the old trapper, it says at the bottom. And look how he used these almost emerald looking pieces all around the base. And then here you can see this young man is protecting his family with his arms around the side, and mother's holding the gun, holding the baby. There's a young sister and daughter right here. Pretty powerful. And, you know, basically trained by the great Claude Bell. Now look beyond here, we can see one of the memorial graves. And it says Ironfoot Ava, 1800 to 1830. It says 300-pound giantess, poetess, singer, and blacksmith, killed on her wedding day by unknown. And if you look underneath the family, you'll see these little detailed leaves and flowers inside there. Look at the old farming equipment underneath this little tree. And then here we have the grave of the blacksmith. Gundy shoots gunsmith. Oh, so you'd been the gunsmith. There you've got guns going all the way around and bullets, and here you've got barrels of guns, and then down at the very bottom it says, if it shoots. And then we'll take a trip past whatever this is, this piece of equipment. We have another headstone. Moonflower. Exotic Frisco beauty danced her way to Boot Hill. And this is Boot Hill. It's a really great view of her tombstone through these trees. Now from here, you can see a little bit of the cemetery over here. We'll hit a little bit of that along the way. For what we can read, if we go under this tree, I see says, Trapper Joe hanged by mistake, or Burbank mob sorry job, Joe caught for. Rest in peace in Boot Hill. Then the next one says, Pearl of the Pawnees, Joe's wife. She cried her life away. With no Joe she had to go. It warn't right, her tears no longer fall. Her a king heart is still to rest. Still at rest. Some of it's faded off a little bit, so. Unfortunately, that one's a little too worn out for me to read, as well as this one. But this one we can read. Says, Sweet Celia, silly and frilly, she loved fun too well. Lovers and like her led her to hell. Balloons and Boot Hill, a wild flower, now and forever. And then down at the bottom, you can see her feet popping out. See his sense of humor? I love it. Now here we have Loverboy Roy. On a dark night, Roy saw a pretty wife by the flash of her husband's gun. Poor boy, all dark now. Now here's another one. Let's see if I can read this one. It's a little bit more difficult. It says something in giant. Killed 6 people in a robbery. He wore these chains and cried for 70 years on a prison farm with 40-pound Georgia ball. Huh, I don't see any chains there. And then this one says, I can't read his name, but it says, talked silly Tilly, who not too often She hit back. Get a hat pin now to Haven and nice at last. Sorry, some of these are really difficult to read. But here's my favorite. Because this is the one that Claude made of John N., the old trapper. OT, that's OT. He wanted this to welcome people when they came to his lodge. And so he has himself here portrayed as a great frontiersman. Look at the amazing necklace of like deer horns and things that he has. Pretty interesting. Really well done too. Down here at the bottom you can see it says Old Trapper John N., Pioneer Hunter. Then here it says Fritzelberg. I can't tell what that says. But here, if you get a better look from here, maybe the sun's a little bit better on our favor. There he is. Great hair, great look. Said that he was a real bohemian for his time. At that time, people didn't have soul patches and earrings, and he did. And then right here in front of him, they have a map that supposedly details his trips. Although the time frame wouldn't match up. As you can see, some say 800 to 1899, and he wasn't born until, was it 1897? So cool though. I really like this kind of stuff. Love this old history. And then right behind him, if you come over here, they have installed his totem pole. And you can see there's faces and things all over that, going all the way up the pole, right into the tree. Now we're gonna continue over here past this fallen tree that when I was, let's see if I do it again today. I hit my head on that 3 times yesterday when I was filming this. Look at this one. This is kind of a controversial one because it has like a native type character with a headpiece stealing a woman, like kidnapping her, and it is called Kidnap. You can see the chains and everything. And what I like about this is it's kind of interesting how he's got all these faces down here, and it's not just a face, but if you look at the teeth are made out of like metal, so they're all like green. Now if you take all of this in, one of the things that you'll notice is that she's fighting back. And if you look right up here at his eye, he's actually had his eye poked out by her, and it's bleeding red. Then of course the faces continue all the way around with those same type of teeth. In fact, this one has a tongue. And they continue all the way around. Not that you need to see all of them, but I thought the back of this was interesting because you can see his weaponry right here and a flask of booze. The old stereotype. Interesting piece. So now we're going to move on to what's titled The Fight of, I believe, Peg Leg Smith and Big Bear. And it says, Mighty Americans, sculpted by the Old Trapper. Now this one's very interesting because you have the scenario of white man versus Native American, and you can see that this man has been hit. He's bleeding. You can see almost the fangs and the teeth up here. And he's been hit too. It looks like there were once arrows poking in his shoulder right there, or some sort of thing, some sort of extra piece that would have been added. You can see the loincloth here, but then at the very foot of them you see all of their belongings. You can see their guns and the powder horn and the hats and the bows and arrow, the canteens. And once again, you have the giant faces that surround this. Now we got to go under the tree, and this is where I clocked myself. Trying to show you guys these kind of shots. So from underneath the tree you can see there are more faces going all the way around. And then from this angle you can see that this man has been hit with a tomahawk and also has an arrow coming out his back. So now let's start working our way around to read some of these headstones. Right here I can see last word Willie. Called his wife a big fat slob. Had the last word one last time. Then this concrete one's been knocked over. And this one says Sad Sadie, alias Poker Face, Gloomy Girl, Icy Agnes, Polar Bird, etc., etc. Stabbed in bucket of blood, Dance a Saloon by Sweet Violet for watering her whiskey. Don't water anybody's whiskey. Now as we work our way around, I love how they constructed this. I wonder if this was like this in this same formation when he created it, but it's got like a wagon wheel and these chains going across, and you can see this one says, Tiger O'Toole slapped Dizzy Liz as she stood chopping wood. Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned with an axe. General Harry Hoffman, son of Cherokee Chief Hickman, he was named trainer and led the Horn River Indian Scouts. Lung shot by arrows 4 times at the Gut River Massacre, battles of Stinking Waters, pretty, what is that word? I can't read it. It says, other fights he lived to kill the great Chief Bloody Hand, and then it all wears out. I almost feel like they should have some honorary headstones for John and his wife, because after John passed away, she followed 4 months later, and she helped him do a lot of this. So here we can see Willie the Weasel, young but doomed to die, shot by Granny Schwarzenberger, holding up her store. Rest in peace, Boot Hill. Here we have Red Finn, choked on broken cork, floating in a jug of gin, died in good spirits. And I can't read this one. Then here we have Cut Rate Kate, gasoline fire burned her in store, but Fancy Nancy, her partner of yore, now was, oh, and it wears out. Urgh. But we also have her feet. This one looked like it was pretty intricate at one time. I wish I could have read that one. This one we can kind of read. It says 1861 unknown half-wit, half-breed, sick and restless, here a day, then went down that lonesome valley all alone. Then up there, that one says Buckshot Bailey. He made a bet that half-wit Helvetia wouldn't shoot, got 6 bullets in his snoot. Teasing don't pay, boys. Little Nell, lost in the big blizzard. We found her tiny feet prints in the snow, but where she died, we never know. Bill Boozer, fastest drunk in the West. He shot sober men, Boot Hill. Then this one says, this gent wanted to leave without paying his rent. He did one last time, Boot Hill. Then Flash Ferguson, professional cutthroat, fastest gun on the West Coast. He said he didn't need, but took alive, he wasn't. Then up here we have, let's see, Peg Leg Lily Larson, pride of the Pecos. Her sweet songs and gentle smile are no more. Shot by jealous Bad Bill Beeler, died at the smoking end of his long black rifle. And this one says, Honorable Judge Hiram Blood, Law West of Powder River, terror to outlaws. He chained and hanged 86 men and 3 ladies. His pious word, you will be hung, don't blame me, it's the law, was heard by the West worst one last time. I guess somebody donated their own shoes to help the cause, I don't know. It says, this is Old Trapper's Lodge, corner of Arvilla and San Fernando Road. I think, yeah. Mailing address. Oh, this was the original sign. It's all worn out. Established March 1941. That's really cool. They still have that. Then here, a few more gravestones. Let's see what we can read. This one's a little harder. It says, "The poet of Puet Wells. Now I will know that my youth is all spent. My get up and go has got up and went. Drank bad water one last time. O.T. Old Trapper." And here we says, "Eagle Eye Egum, his last peek through Olga Olson's keyhole, saw him see nuttin' now." Then I don't know what this used to be, but on this one I can't really read it, but you can see that something used to be attached to there as though it was part of the headstone. Now here it looks like we have a man laying in wake or for a viewing of some sort. He's all laid out. His headstone's pretty faded out. It's a little hard to read. Looks like it says Bigfoot Brown. Dirty Gertie shot him down. Born blind, long time. And then I can't read the rest of it. It's, well, there you can kind of see how he was making it. You can see the chicken wire and the concrete and the steel rod reinforcement, but look at the toll that the weather is taking on these. I don't know necessarily that you want to restore them, but maybe maybe put an awning up somehow to kind of help protect them from weather. Yeah, I'd say those are some big feet. Now believe it or not, we've seen most of it, which they actually have a lot. It wasn't just that they saved one or two figures, they saved a lot of it. I don't know if they saved all of it, but they saved a lot. And this is one of those old classic gags that you always see in old pioneer western towns. What looks like the wishing well right here on the front. And what's cool is you see these little like glass ball things. Some of those were just laying randomly in the cemetery, so they obviously moved those over to here and they're just kind of laying there loose. This is the old baby rattlers. And so when you see these in ghost towns and stuff, the joke is that you look down in this pit and that you see baby rattles, you know, that little babies would rattle, and it's supposed to be like a snake joke, but this looks like compost. So now all of Old Trapper's creations live out here at Pierce College on this little Cleveland park on the grounds. And you can come out here and check it out. It's really great. We'll leave on this last piece over here that we haven't seen, this wall, and it's all faces. Very interesting. So this probably would have all been based off of family members if the legend is true. These aren't quite the same as those creations because these look like they're all concrete and some of the other ones were chicken wire and other things, but that's a great one. Look at that. Well, at least somebody cared. Historical landmark. Awesome. Great job, California. Then this is our buddy that we saw when we first walked in, where we started from. Looks like his name is Lonesome George. It's on that faded sign. And with Lonesome George, you can tell he's seeing the wear of the weather as well. See the materials he's made of, but there he sits on the bench, lonesome as ever. All right, gang, well, we're gonna head out of here. You got to see the same thing you were gonna see today anyway. But truth be told, I think I filmed it a little bit better today, so I hope you guys enjoyed checking out OT's dream, OT's passion, and something that he said he had always felt was inside of him. And he spent 30 years creating this. I'm glad it still exists. Let's head out of here and go see Ja. I'm gonna trust, I don't know what your name is here, fella, because your nameplate here is all worn out, and the lovely ladies as well, but I'm gonna trust if any funny business goes down, you'll be here to protect the ladies, right? All right. Take care, you two. Alvin Cleveland Park is where it's located inside Pierce College. Pretty cool place. It takes up this whole big chunk back here. They gave it a pretty good lot of land, not just all crammed in there. And thank you, OT. It's thanks to people like you keep me excited about going out and doing this every day, looking for things like this to show other people to come visit and keep alive. On our way out of here, look at what's on the back of this bench these two ladies are sitting on. We just had a great battle, didn't we? Yeah, you need a bath now, my friend. So the good news is I got Amazon to agree to take back this hunk of garbage phone, so I could use your help now. If you can help recommend a phone to me that is not iPhone and is not Samsung, that you may have or that you've messed around with, that you like, that has a good filming camera, a good video camera, not one that, like, you know, does weird jumps or skips or anything. If you have a phone that has 128 gigs of memory minimum and a good camera, please recommend it in the notes below. I would love to look into it. I was kind of looking at the H3, but if anybody has any recommendations, please send them my way. Now you got a bath, didn't you? When you get a bath, you're even more crazy. Ah! How was that bath, huh? How was your bath, huh? Good boy, look at you, you're all wet. Alright, good night everyone. I hope you guys enjoyed checking out the old Trapper's Lodge remnants today. I know I did. I've never seen those before, and all the hype that I read online lived up to it. Thank you Leslie Bridges, Daniel Rossman, Tony Kraus, Gerard Vincent, and Jane Gilmore for becoming my newest Patreons. And thank you all for watching. We'll see you all tomorrow. Have a great night. And of course, goodbye.